Hi, everybody, and welcome to our post-game report here at Staples. Fred Roggin, joined by Rick Fox. Robert, you come. Oh, there goes Robert Ari. He's running out the door. He's running down the hall. Rick, congratulations.
Yes. Thank you, Fred. How long have we been doing this now?
We've been doing it for about 10 years, it seems like.
I know, but hey, I tell you, I told you just now a minute ago, I'm glad we lost in India the other day. Makes this a lot more fun.
You know, you have been the gamut of emotions, the highs, the lows. What is it finally like?
Right now, I've gone, like I said, from being shocked to a lot of tears with my father to being elated and being able to laugh and not stop, to being tackled by Shaquille, having champagne poured down my nostrils. It right now is something I hope lasts for the whole summer and then go back to doing it again.
As you look at the entire year and what it took to get here, did you think when you started it would end like this?
Well, I'd hoped. I kept looking at Phil Jackson. I thought he had the answers. I thought he had the keys, along with his coaching staff. And you know, he kept along with Ron Harper, talking about championship basketball, showing rings, and having to sit across Harp and watching him wear his rings all year and talking about it and talking about how we didn't know anything about it and how he was going to show us. You know, he showed us. They both showed us along with the coaching staff, and it's amazing to finally get it done after talking about it for so long.
What a year. Married, birth of daughter, NBA title.
Great year. Unbelievable year. Turned 30. I don't know if I can top this in a year of my life again.
Enjoy and savor it, and thank you for coming over and being our guest on the post-game shows each night.
Thank you, LA. Thank you for. Hey, you know what?
What?
6 years in Boston. They told me when I left, the grass isn't greener. Grass is greener in LA, baby. It's definitely greener on the other side. I'm telling you, Fred.
Enjoy it, man.
Thanks.
All right. Rick Fox, thanks so much. An NBA champ. We're going to whip it around Southern California and show you the celebrations. We'll start with Conan Nolan. He's outside Staples Center. Conan.
That's right, Fred. They're rocking and rolling outside Staples Center. This is the biggest commotion we've had in downtown Los Angeles since, well, frankly, I can't remember the last time we had this much commotion in downtown Los Angeles. Again, of course, the Lakers' last celebrations were in Inglewood. This is the first time we've done it downtown at Staples Center, the first year of Staples Center. So many people, they had 5,000 people outside here during the game. You didn't need a ticket to stand on 11th Street and watch the big Jumbotron. They were rocking and rolling. Then after the game was over, the fans from inside came pouring out here. It's a sea of purple and gold. Let's go live to the helicopter who's overhead. Bob Petty will give you a look at what Staples Center and 11th Street and Figueroa looks like now. We had so many people out here during the game. I must say there were quite a few folks drinking alcoholic beverages. The LAPD had a very strong presence here, but they acted extremely, how should I say, professionally in some respects. They were loud, they were extremely excited, but everything has gone extremely smoothly in the downtown area. One more picture of these folks as we now take you to another part of Los Angeles where they're celebrating. Let's now go live to Westwood and Ted Chen.
Conan, I can barely hear you, and I hope you can hear me, but look at this crowd at Maloney's in Westwood. Nobody has left. Everybody is so excited over this Laker victory, and they have been this way since the game began. UCLA students, people from all over the community, people are celebrating outside, people are celebrating inside, and nobody has left this bar. We're talking about die-hard Laker fans, people who just jumped on the bandwagon this year. All of them have just been freaking out. Okay, it's getting a little crazy here. We're going to toss it to David Cruz in Pasadena. David.
Okay, I'll go to Pasadena. Hello, Ted and West Covina. This is one of the party places tonight. Thousands of people here. Many of them aren't going anywhere. Very, very loud, just like it's been at Staples Center and also where you are. But this is just part of about 2,000 people who came to the National Sports Bar and Grill. This is going to be endless party. I'm David Cruz reporting live in West Covina. Let's go to the next location.
All right, David, thanks very much. David Cruz having a great time. Here is the MVP, Shaquille O'Neal. Let's listen in.
We won. I think when it was like a minute 30 left and they showed outside, and there's a million people outside, you know, we said that, you know, we gotta get it done.
You talk about, at the end there, everyone's watching you cry, and people don't normally see that kind of emotion from you, and the audience is crying, and the press are crying. It's this great feeling. Talk about the kind of things that are going through your head at that moment.
Well, I've held emotion for about 11 years now. 3 years of college, 8 years in the league, and always wanted to win. And it just came out, And happy for Phil, happy for my teammates, happy for the city. Just a great moment.
Shaq, this was the dominance that people expected for such a long time from you. Why did it happen this year?
I think the main reason it happened because I was knick-knack injury-free. First year I came here, I messed up my left knee, my right knee. Second year, knees again, ankles. Last season, I tore both sides of my abdominals. And this summer, I took the summer off, went up to Canada, trained. Really didn't do much. Just stayed out of trouble. Met with Phil. Phil put on a piece of paper what he wanted me to do, and I knew that Phil was the coaching staff. Phil and his coaching staff was the staff that was going to bring this team over the hump. We always won our 50 and 60 games, but when we got into certain situations in the playoffs, we could never get over the hump. And we had home court advantage. We made a lot of mistakes during the playoffs, but Phil was able to keep us poised, watch film, and when you look at a guy like Phil, if your leader is not worried, why should you worry? He prepared us very well. A lot of tape, going to the practice facility 2 times a day, playing, watching film, and the thing I really like about Phil is how he got the other guys to play. That's what I liked about it when he was with the Bulls. Because I played with Steve Kerr one year. He couldn't hit a shot. Could not hit a shot. That guy Bryant right there, he could not hit a shot. But then when he went, when he was with the Bulls, guys like him and Bushler and Luke Longley, what they did. So, I knew that Phil was a great motivator and a great people person, and he did a great job with all the role players.
Shaq, were you guys just ready to win the title this year with or without Phil, or did you need Phil to do it?
I think we needed Phil to do it. Because of his resume, guys believed in him. When he came in from the first day of training camp, it was no nonsense. I've been here previous years before, coaches talking and guys messing around, but when Phil came in and said what he had to say, because of his resume, and we all know his resume, we knew that was no nonsense. And then he said, if you don't do what I say, you're not going to be here. If you don't like the way I handle it, let me know, and we'll get you out of here. That's the kind of discipline that I was used to, from my father, from LSU with Dale Brown. And it was nice to, go back to that discipline.
All right, that's Shaq talking with the media. Now, what I want to show you is some tape we shot a couple of minutes ago before Shaq got into the interview room. You saw a portion of it when Shaquille was talking. There are our cameras. You see Carlos Del Valle. It starts with Derek Fisher getting a champagne bath.
How good does that taste? Woo! Is that a championship taste?
This is a great feeling. I'm just happy for our team, for LA, for the Laker organization, Dr. Buss. Everybody deserves this championship, everybody.
You did not make it easy, though, on yourselves, did you?
No, we didn't. We haven't done that, it seems like, the 4 years that I've been here. And, we just stayed down and stayed together.
I'll go, baby. Get ready to pop this thing.
There you see the outpouring of emotion. Shaq hugging Rick Fox. Shockingly, Rick Fox was able to get up and walk after that match, after Shaq was on top of him. You were on the court. You saw Shaquille O'Neal's eyes. You saw him crying. What was that like?
I think it was just a touching moment for everybody, every player, everybody associated with this organization, but every Laker fan, too. He was just saying, hey, I finally done it. I got the monkey off my back. People had been labeling him as a guy who couldn't come through in terms of the big game. He would never be a champion. He proved them all wrong. What a fantastic year, first of all, to be the MVP, and then to come back and do that again in the playoffs, just a blessing. And Fred, we all got a chance to witness that and witness this team growing up in front of our eyes and maturing and went from individuals to a team. And I think that Phil Jackson had a lot to do with that. They really got behind him and what he was trying to teach them. But also, you got to give this a man who probably won't get a lot of the credit, and that's Dr. Jerry Buss for spending the money to bring Phil here.
Because he always said he didn't want to spend a lot of money on a coach.
That's right, and he realized that, you know, if I'm going to win a championship, I got to get the best in here to work with the best. And you got to see Kobe be a more mature Kobe. You got to see Shaq now be the dominant force that we all thought he could be. And that's because of Phil Jackson. And then the other players, Robert Horry had a big game tonight. And it was just a great series, a great game, and the city has gone crazy.
Urban, saying that, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a shot of our helicopter right now outside because things are getting a bit out of control. Can you talk about what people should do in this situation to celebrate in a responsible manner?
Well, I think they should just celebrate and have a good time and not really tear anything up, not hurt anybody or any property. Just have a good time and a safe time. And the man I was just talking about has arrived. And I'm giving him, I just told him, sir, that you deserve a lot of this credit for bringing in Phil Jackson, and you are a winner once again. And let me thank him, Fred, publicly for letting me be a part of this as an owner. He's been like a father to me for all these years, and he is the best owner in all the sports, not just basketball, but in all the sports. You deserve it.
Thank you, Irvin. Thanks.
Jerry, this has to be such an emotional night for you.
Yes, it certainly is. I mean, you know, we won a lot of them in a row over the first 10 years I was in the league. Then all of a sudden we looked and we didn't have any superstars anymore. At that point, you decide you've got to go to work. And, you know, thank heavens for Jerry West, because he was able to get a lot of talent here. I think we probably have arguably the two best players in the NBA. And that's just fantastic when you get that. And a great vindication for all the hard work that he put in for this long of a period of time. And obviously you have to thank Phil Jackson. I mean,
you sound like you're going to cry, Jerry. That's how emotional you are.
A little emotional here, yeah, a little emotional. But Phil has been obviously fantastic. He's worked some miracles that nobody ever thought could be done this quickly. But when you get right down to it, it's Magic and I, the owners, that deserve the credit.
We got to pay the bills.
Well, listen, congratulations to you, Dr. Buss. Magic, congratulations to you. How exciting it is. LA has been a long time without a champ.
Yeah.
You guys did it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's...
Maybe we should get a football team.
Now, let's do that next. Yeah. But I think that Dr. Buss has been committed to this city. We both have, and he is a winner. And he has not stopped until he got this moment again. And we won't stop after this season either. We want more of this.
You get really, so you want more and more.
Right. That's why we want to be on Fred's show more and more. And the confetti will be coming down on our head come Wednesday. Yeah!
The parade is Wednesday, guys. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. Congratulations. All right, let's go to Kobe Bryant. He's talking to the media right now.
So it didn't surprise me. What surprised me is that he didn't make it, because he usually makes those type of shots in those situations.
Kobe, I got to ask you, all season long, people are watching you play with this kid in the Adidas commercials almost as much as you've been playing with the Lakers. So what, the kid in the Adidas commercials with you, I think Fuzzy?
Fuzzy was?
Yeah. So what's your message to him tonight now that he's watching you and you came this far?
Don't take it personal, blocking your shot, because I do it in the pros too. From Fuzz, I just, the message is just keep on trying and keep on working hard. The message of that commercial was that even though he was getting the shot blocked, and even though he was being defeated, he kept on pushing and kept on coming, and that was the message.
Kobe, can you talk about the fact that you started driving to the basket in the third and particularly in the fourth quarter, what the thinking was, getting the ball to Shaq and penetrating?
Just had to attack him. That was my whole mind state. Throughout the series, we knew that play, that screen roll that we were running pretty much the whole fourth quarter was giving them problems, giving them trouble, because they didn't know where they wanted to rotate from. And once I saw a gap, I just attacked.
When you were going back to the bench during the last timeout, you're pointing fingers at what did that mean?
That's one ring. that's one. We did it for ourselves, and we did it for the city of Los Angeles, who supported us all year long.
Rowdy.
And they deserve it because it's been a long drought, and it's finally here.
Kobe, Shaq's growth in the span of just one season, can you try to summarize how far he has come?
All right, that is Kobe Bryant talking to the media, but things, as you can see in our picture, getting a little wild outside of Staples Center. So we want to go to Bob Petty right now. Bob, are you up there?
Well, Fred, it is getting a little bit busy out here, as they, of course, they predicted it would be. The Staples Center crowd, there were thousands of people outside the Staples Center watching the big screens all during the game, and when the Lakers finally clinched it at the end, it erupted out here in joy, but a little bit of exuberance that the police are trying to put a stop to. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat there. We had taking down barriers, wooden and plastic barriers, and starting fires. At one point, we had some fairly good bonfires going from those objects, burning with people leaping through the flames, which of course did not look very safe from where my viewpoint was. At the one point, we had at least 6 of those fires going. Now, the police have moved in with motorcycle and other officers pushing the crowds back from the Staples Center down 11th and down Fig. We have seen limousines and other cars trying to get out of the Staples Arena area, Staples Center area, and actually the crowd surrounding them, jumping up on top of those limousines, pounding on the sides, throwing objects at them. But it appears that most of the cars that were stuck in the middle of the crowd have been able to escape because of the concentrated efforts of the Los Angeles Police Department motor officers on their motorcycles, pushing those people back away from the Staples Center and trying to clear that area. Of course, the traffic in the area on various streets trying to leave the Staples Center area just jam-packed in as people exit the parking lots. But we have not seen any injuries, but we have seen fires. We have seen the police officers trying to push the crowd back. Obviously, we'll stay up here, and as it progresses, we'll bring you even more. But for now, I'm Bob Petty, live in News Chopper 4 over the Staples Center. Fred, back to you down in the arena.
Bob, thanks a lot. Keep an eye on things. We'll check back with you. Now let's get into the Laker locker room. Carlos Del Valle talking with Glenn Rice.
Sure. What was your emotional level like once the game was over? What was that like for you emotionally?
Oh, man, I mean, it felt like all my energy just fell out my body. I mean, it was the greatest moment in my life, you know, in my NBA career, and I can get used to that. I can get used to that.
And in terms of this was important, obviously, a championship for you. Who do you share this with most in terms of this championship?
Well, definitely I got to share it with my team, man. You know, I most of all, I share it with my wife. I mean, my wife has had to deal with my ups and downs all year, and, you know, I know it hasn't been easy, and, you know, I just thank God that we're able to get to the point we got to win an NBA championship.
That's what a lot of people expected. Be right here.
It was tough, but I tell you what, that's what it's all about. You don't want it to come easy.
And you guys did not make it easy on yourselves, did you?
We didn't make it easy on ourselves, but I tell you what, it was a great learning experience for us, and I hope next year we can do it much better than we did this year.
Patrick Healy with the fans in orange. Hey, Patrick, come on in.
Fred, the crew here at Orange Sporting Goods in the city of Orange would like to submit this as an example of responsible celebrating. We have a few banners here we want to see. We have our own Kobe Bryant of the next generation here. Judging from this level of pandemonium, you would think that the Orange High School Panthers had just won the Century League Championship. A lot of Orange High graduates in this group here at the sporting goods store. They sure love their Lakers, and I would try to ask them about the highlights of the game, but as you can see, they're just content to make a lot of noise tonight. So that's the story from Orange Sporting Goods in the city of Orange. Let's go back to Staples Center.
Patrick, thanks very much. Stay safe down there. We heard Kobe Bryant in the interview room a few moments ago. Carlos Del Valle talked with Kobe in the locker room. Let's listen in.
I got to ask you, what is this championship? I know this championship means so much to you, but who are you sharing this with, and how do you feel? Who else do you feel it belongs to?
Well, obviously my teammates, but outside of our circle, my family, my beautiful fiance for staying up late with me at night. You know, I was getting frustrated. My father for bringing me into this world, my mother for bringing me into this world. My mother actually got scared to come in the locker room, I guess. She didn't want me to wet her up with champagne. So she ducked me, but I got some champagne at home.
There you go. There you go. You guys never really made it easy on yourselves in terms of, but is that what goes along with trying to win the first one?
Well, that's what defines a champion. I'd much rather have this game be the way it was, you know, us having to come back and fight from a deficit. as opposed to just blowing it out, because then we have to test our championship skills and our determination.
What was that sense at the very end of the game to you? What did you feel like? I mean, obviously, I imagine it was emotionally draining.
I don't know.
Really?
I didn't know what I felt. You know, we was up on a podium. I was asking PJ, okay, what do we do now? where do we go next? I don't know what's going on, but it was just such a wonderful feeling. My whole body just felt numb.
Shaq looked so emotional after the game. He down.
What do you do next? Well, obviously, first you celebrate, and then you prepare to get married. Carlos also talked with Kobe's fiancée, Vanessa Lane.
I'm so proud of him. I knew he was going to come through, and he did it. He did it, and I knew it. I knew this was it.
Was it difficult to sit there and watch this go on?
Yeah, I cried. I cried the whole fourth quarter. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink anything. I was just chilling. That's it.
These guys did such a great job this year, and obviously he says he gives you a lot of credit for sort of keeping him calm and relaxed. Is that kind of a nice feling to have from him from that angle?
Yeah, it is, but in a way I don't feel I deserve any credit because it's all through him. And I'm so proud of him, and that just the way he pulls through things, and just how he's so independent, and just how he has so much confidence and doesn't need anybody in there. You know what I mean? I'm really, really proud of him.
And you guys have gone through so much yourselves in terms of dealing with us, obviously, and dealing with just getting engaged and so on and so forth. So the culmination of this, where you, I know, we can't help it, but the culmination of it all now is that he's an NBA champion and you're about to be married to one. What do you think about that?
Of course, I think it's fabulous. I mean, that's an easy question, you know, easy answer. It's great.
There you go, Kobe's fiancée, Vanessa Lane. Now let's go outside to Conan Nolan. What's going on outside of Staples, Conan?
Hi, Fred. Yes, well, this is the happening area between Georgia and Figueroa on 11th, as you've been mentioning. Now, this is where there were going to be problems. So far, it's been a very loud celebration. There have been some bottles thrown, but for the most part, things are under control. These folks in blue and gold, purple and gold, very excited here. Now, this is the area where a lot of the celebrities have been pulling out. Bob Petty mentioned earlier that there is one explorer that came out. It might have had a recognizable star because the crowd converged on top of it. People jumping on top of that wagon. LAPD came in and were able to make a way for these cars to make their way off Georgia Street onto 11th and onto the Harbor Freeway. As you can see, though, there are lots of folks who are still hanging around. This is just too much for them to let go. Let's take another look back at our camera down here live. These are folks, there they are. They want to be on TV. Here they get a chance to be on television. These folks, many of them were among the crowd of about 5,000 people who were outside at the Jumbotron here. This part of the street blocked off so the people could watch the game and be part of the ambiance. They were the first ones, of course, to celebrate in the street, and they've been celebrating ever since. But most of the crowd from the, well, there we have a problem. Now, that I believe, Bob Petty will tell us, that I believe is over on the north side of Staples, over off Figueroa. But that has been the exception. Most of the crowd has been orderly, loud but orderly. LAPD, a very strong police presence, and for the most part, it appears, at least from our vantage point, that things are going well. Again, there's quite a bit of pandemonium and commotion and noise out here, but so far, with the exception of the picture that you're looking at right now, at least on this end, things seem to be under control. Fred, back to you.
Conan, thanks so very much. Phil Jackson capturing his 7th NBA title. Speaking now to the media, here is the Laker coach.
And from that part, I was very grateful to these guys. The esprit de corps was just wonderful with this team.
Phil, Jerry Buss said earlier tonight that he really didn't think, when he looked back to the very beginning of your hiring, that in 1 year you could really, do it and get to this point. When you took the job, did you think at that point that it was unreasonable to think that you would be sitting in this situation here this evening?
I spent some of the off season after taking the job. I'll give myself another 3 months looking at some tape and some of the things I thought this team had to do to become a very good basketball club. One was transition defense, being able to handle screen rolls, and then having enough energy to play complete games. And I questioned, whether Shaq had been in shape in the last couple years, physically really good shape. And so those are the challenges that I leveled with them. The first practice I had in October, I stopped the practice and I said, you guys can't play with the kind of energy that I demand as a coach, and you're going to have to lift that up. And they found a way to do that, but that was the key to whether we could win or not. I didn't think that they could play with the kind of intensity defensively that it takes to be a champion team. And from that standpoint, I'm very pleased that they were able to bring that level up to really a maximum effort this year.
Phil, earlier tonight, Shaquille said that the Lakers could not have accomplished this without you. He talked about your resume at length, your 6 championship rings. In your opinion, if you came in here with no championship rings, would this have been possible this year?
Wow, I don't know if I can hypothetically go to that level. It's credibility. It's getting players to be able to listen to you and believe in you that makes coaching possibility. It's made Larry Bird a very good coach in Indiana and given him the ability to instill confidence in Croziers and Roses and guys that have played at a better level than they ever have before. That's what coaching's about, and I would imagine that his playing and his reputation helped him in his stead. Mine had to come behind championships with the Chicago Bulls to give the credibility to this basketball club. But saying all that, it's still the heartfelt effort and enthusiasm that you put into your job and how real I think you approach the players as to whether they get it or don't get it, whether they truly believe you and willing to suspend judgment or disbelief. And this team was able to do that. They were able to give me a lot of room, a margin to work with, and that helped us out.
Laker coach Phil Jackson, you see in the double box that there is a fire going on outside of Staples right now. We understand that is a television truck from KCBS Channel 2. A crew truck has been lit on fire, according to reports. From what we understand, there are no injuries at this point, but that truck is burning outside of Staples in downtown Los Angeles. So, to the best of our knowledge, there have been 2 vehicles set on fire at this point. Other than that, there have been no major problems, not to minimize the effect of that, but the 2 vehicles have been the extent of the problems at this time. Conan Nolan, from your vantage point, can you give us any more information on this? Do we have Conan? All right, Conan can't hear me because it's too loud outside. But again, you were looking at a picture. It's outside of Staples. According to reports, no one has been injured. We understand the 2 vehicles have been lit on fire, and that one is burning pretty severely, and you can see somebody jumping through the picture holding up a sign at this point. What we'll do now is we're going to listen to Shaquille O'Neal back inside Staples, but of course we'll continue to allow you to see what is going on outside as well. Here is Shaquille O'Neal.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
Oh my gosh, how much fun are you having, Jack?
I have a lot of fun, man. I've been in the league 8 years. I always wanted to get to this point. I'm finally here. I'm happy. Happy for the city, happy for the organization. Happy for everybody, man.
What a dream season you've had. You've been MVP of everything.
But when I met with Phil, he told me what he wanted me to do. It seemed kind of outrageous, but I said to myself, why don't I give it a try?
How big is Phil Jackson? Everybody talked about him being in the shadow of Michael, but he proved he did it in the air.
Phil's been vital. I want to thank both Phils, my father Phil Jackson. We were able to, keep our poise during a tough playoff series, but we won and we got it done.
You guys did not make.
All right, that was Shaquille O'Neal speaking in the Laker locker room. And now you can see outside Staples, the fire continues. We are efforting to get a shot of what we believe to be a police car on fire as well. Apparently vandals have lit a police car on fire. You can see it in the center of the screen there. You see people running. The police coming in now to clear out and disperse the crowd. And people are moving awfully quickly. The police car lit on fire. The police had left the vehicle. Over-exuberant fans moved in, and it turned into what you see right now. We don't believe there were any injuries down at the police car, but if you are considering going out to celebrate tonight, this certainly docks the exclamation point. There is no need to celebrate in this manner, and there is no reason to celebrate in this manner. Celebrate responsibly and enjoy the title. Don't walk around and ignite things. And there you see another shot from down here at Staples. The police trying to move people out of the way, and you can also see the inside of that car is burning pretty well at this point. We heard from Rick Fox here. Rick Fox is now in the interview room. We'll continue to show you what's going on outside. Here's Rick Fox as well.
Players disrespect us, and as you know, in the past few years, we've been swept out of playoffs because of our lack of intensity and our ability not to stand up and fight for something that we really truly wanted.
Last question.
You want to answer a question?
Thank you.
No. Okay.
For the media buses, please exit through the loading dock area to 11th.
We have not taken a break yet.
We'll be returning to the hotels for the media. Thank you.
All right, that is Laker forward Rick Fox talking to the media. You see the scene inside, you see the scene outside. Let's go back to Burbank now. Paul and Colleen are standing by, folks.
All right, Fred, thank you very much. Paul Moyer along with Colleen Williams. Here's what happened. There were about 5,000 people out there on the north side of Staples Center watching this game on a Jumbotron. When the game ended, everything seemed to be orderly, and then all of a sudden they set like 2, 3, 4, a total of 6 little fires, and they were jumping through the fires. Then people started to come out of Staples Center after the game, Colleen, and that's when things started to heat up. And I don't mean that as a pun. You look at a Channel 2 news van right there being burned to the ground. You've got to assume that these are just a few people who kind of look for an excuse to do this on an occasion like this, and you've got to assume that most of the fans, even the 5,000 out there, Colleen, were very orderly.
You're right about that, Paul. We've not only seen a news van from Channel 2, but we saw the crowd trying to overturn a van. I believe this is a police car that was set on fire, an LAPD unit. We've seen the crowd, as you said, about 5,000 people out there. Initially, we saw the small bonfires almost the moment the Lakers won the NPA. We saw people dancing around the fires, jumping through, and then it escalated to this point. This is an LAPD police unit. You see the fire units trying to put out the fire inside.
Right.
We watched people try to attack the limos and rock the limos as they were leaving the Staples Center. Limos and cars, people just trying to get out and get home.
And the fire department said all along, look, we're here in force. We don't want to go in there, even though that those 6 small fires are burning. Yes, it's dangerous, but until we see that property and or life are in danger, we're not going to go in. Well, then you had the 2 fires, the 1 news van and the 1 police car, and now you see the fire people in there trying to do what they can to put it out. But even the big force of fire people and the LAPD held back as long as they could, and then they started to clear the street. You saw them moving down in force on Fig. Basically, it's Figueroa, 11th Street, 9th Street, Harbor Freeway on the west. That's where Staples Center is. And as Fred pointed out, and Colleen, I think we can affirm that up to now, nobody's been hurt.
You're right about that, Paul. Again, we're looking at a black and white cruiser that was set on fire. We knew early on there would be a police presence around the Staples Center in case something happened. Initially, as you said, the small fires broke out, and it was nothing but sort of a bonfire, sort of a celebration of the Lakers' win tonight.
With people jumping through the fire.
People jumping through. We watched it on the monitors, the videotape and the live shots coming in upstairs, wondering, you know, what was going on. Now we see it's escalated to this point. We have to point out as well, the Lakers did all these promotional spots, which we've watched air tonight, saying keep the celebration down to a minimum.
Right.
Keep it clean, if you will.
Well, again, and you just got to assume that most of the people did just that, and you're looking at a few of the people, even there, that, you know, they're jumping through the fire. Nobody appears to be getting hurt. But then when you have the van overturned and the police car overturned, that is a different story. But see that guy walk through there?
We wondered
He's wearing
earlier,
tennis shoes, for heaven's sakes. Now he's standing in the middle of the fire.
We wondered earlier what was fueling the fire, and we see it's right next to a newsstand here, so we can only assume these are newspapers pulled from the boxes there.
Well, the
Fueling this particular
LAPD
one.
is out there in force, and they are trying to walk the thin blue line, if you will, holding back as long as they can until somebody's in danger, and then they have to move in. I'm looking at a shot now that you're not seeing, but it's on our monitor, a long shot from our helicopter, and it looks like it's really starting to thin out.
Thank you very much.
That most of the people now are starting to leave and in fact have left, and what you're looking at is just a small group of people that are still left and are still causing these problems.
Again, we need to point out there have been no reports of anyone hurt at this point in time. There have been some reports of damage. We've been watching the police car burn. We understand a news van from Channel 2 was set afire and burned right down to the wheels. Also, I watched a microwave truck being rocked. It may have been turned over. We heard the LAPD was in force there, as well as their equestrian units, and then you see the presence there right now.
Yeah, and they started to rock a couple of limos, indeed probably full of people, and you look at that and you think, oh my goodness, what happens if they turn over? They didn't. All we know are the two units, the TV truck and the police car that have turned over. You're looking at one of the small fires now that are left, people milling about. It is, I mean, when you add the 5,000 people to the 20,000 that were in Staples and all trying to come out at basically the same time, you got a big crowd. And now you're looking at the equestrian units.
Paul, Colleen, are you there?
Yes, we are. Conan, come on in and help us out, buddy.
Yeah, we are at the intersection of 11th and Georgia. We just we just returned from an episode that you saw, Paul, on the telecopter a little while ago of a news truck. It was a Ford Explorer, it looked like, that was fully involved. Somebody set that on fire. This is after they had taken down the microwave mast on another news truck, a van. That did not go up in flames. Then it looks like a LAPD unit closer to where we are at Georgia and 11th also went up in flames. LA City Fire Crews, as you're looking at them now, responded quickly. It was too late for the Explorer, and it was too late for the PD unit. Now, a little while ago, I must admit, I thought this was going to be okay. The first half hour following the victory seemed to be loud and noisy, and but it looked like that most of the crowd from Staples was leaving rather quickly. It may have been part of that 5,000 crowd outside that has lingered here for quite some time, and then things got nasty. A little while ago, LAPD units were actually firing rubber bullets into the crowd closest to the police unit that was set on fire in the effort to get the crowd back. Now, I have to tell you, this is nothing like the crowd that was here about a half hour ago. Most of the folks out here have gone home, but I tell you, the ones who have remained have had destruction on their mind, at least some of them, and there are one of the problems here, there are a lot of newspapers scattered all over this section of Staples, and people have been taking cigarette lighters to them, and that's some of the fires that you've been seeing on the sidewalk.
Conan, we've got some updated information. We're told now that a police car has now been overturned at Figueroa and Pico, which would make what, the fourth vehicle overturned and set on fire?
Yes.
Figueroa and Pico, an LAPD
2 police cars and 2 news units.
There's three vehicles on this stretch of
right
on 11th that were. One was severely vandalized. That was the news truck. I'm not sure who that belonged to.
What are we looking at now, Conan? We've got the equestrian units on the right. Well, now we're off the shop. Now we had the equestrian on the right, and then looked like the fire trucks on the left. Can you, Conan, from what you've seen tonight, is it true that it's just a small group of people that are doing this?
Paul, what we saw tonight in the middle of the crowd outside Staples, where the Jumbotron was showing the game, is a lot of folks, many of whom brought their kids. We saw babies in wheelchairs to be part of the excitement here, but we also saw a good deal of folks who had brought cases of beer. And so we knew at that point that with alcohol in the mix and with the thrill of victory, there were going to be a lot of folks who are going to use this as an opportunity to, I don't know, make a statement. I think it's being generous to say even that. But yeah, Paul, I have to say, I think it's a minority, but it doesn't take that many people in order to cause this kind of disturbance.
Conan, very quickly, you mentioned the rubber bullets. Any presence of tear gas or anything like that? We see the motorcycle cops and the equestrian units moving in. Anything beyond that at this point?
We haven't seen any tear gas, Colleen, but again, we have seen them fire rubber bullets into the crowd, and they can sting. They, of course, did exactly what they were intended to do.
Right.
Paul, back to you.
All right, listen, Conan, what you're looking at is, 10 or 12 years of pent-up, no championship basketball being released at the same time with several minor problems. All right, I'm going to do that, okay? Fred Roggin is standing by now. Fred, back to you.
Hold up. 2
right there. Champs, we did it. We did it. My old head showing me well, showing me the ropes.
It's awesome, baby.
Schooling me.
We are live right now. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you very much. You know what? I'd like to say thanks to the fans of L.A., to the man above, to my boy Kobe, to Shaq. We came in this season. We came in this season. We didn't know what to expect. We came in here and we done what we've done. A field. Take your hat out, Phil Jackson. Take your last Bull Championship ring on.
Interviewing us all them damn years.
Get your LA ring on.
Get your party on.
Get your party on.
Get your party on.
How it feel, Cole?
Feels beautiful, man.
Cole, tell me about it.
Hey, man, I had my old head showing me the ropes, man, teaching me well, calming me down today, and we got it done. It feels great.
Hey, I'm going to tell you one thing about Kobe. At that age, I was that age one time, I had all the basketball skills that he had, and we tried to do it all by ourselves. I said, look, Cole, let us as a team help you out. In the fourth quarter, it's your time. Shaq, awesome. Awesome, Shaq. Then Kobe came to live, and we took it home. Then we got
Absolutely, baby. We did it.
Tell me how I feel at 21 years
We did
old.
it. I can't explain it, man. I don't know.
You don't know about it, do you?
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do next. I'm just like walking around the place. Like
You're walking around.
I'm just walking around, looking at stuff. People grab my arms. I don't feel anything. I'm just numb right now.
When are you going to get married?
We'll get married this summer, and that's going to
Congratulations to you getting married.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And you know what?
What?
21 years old, you more mature than any other guy I know at 21 years old.
Thank you. Thank
and
you.
You know what? My hat will always go off to a young man like you that got a lot of basketball skills and no fear.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Ron Harper and Kobe Bryant. Stay with us. We'll return to Staples with more of our post-game report.
Yeah.